Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a simple boat on water. We're going to be focusing on the water reflections today. So if you've ever wondered how to paint water, this will be the tutorial for you. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to chat tonight for our live show. So if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm using a 9 by 12 inch canvas board. This is the Pro Series Belgian linen board from Fredrix. They're a canvas sponsor, so thank you to them. They've got a kind of a nice hard core, so they don't warp. I really like them, and I use these a lot because I can store several of them. You would not believe how many paintings we have in our studio. There's just a few. We do about 10 new ones a month, so they add up real quick after several years of doing YouTube. All right, our brushes that we're going to be using are Princeton. They're our brush sponsor. I've got a couple mops. This is a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch mop. That'll be for some of the water to kind of soften some of the ripples in the water. And then for the main sections of the water, we're going to be wanting probably a filbert brush or a round brush. So I've got several different sizes here of round brushes. I've got 3 different round brush sizes. I've got a number 1 round in their Velvet Touch, and then these long handled ones are the 6100 series. So this is a number 1 and 2 round, and then a number 4 filbert and a number 4 filbert in the Select. It's a lot smaller than the one in the 6100 series. I never go by the numbers. You kind of just have to go by the actual line. The sizes, this one's about a 1/2 inch or so, and then this one is closer to a little bit less than a 1/4 inch. There's a 1/4 inch right there. So, and then this one is a little closer to a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/4 inch filbert here. So, and then I've got my 3/4 inch or 3/8 inch, I'm sorry, and 1/4 inch angle brushes for mostly probably on the boat itself. And then I've also got a long round for some of the smaller lines in the water. You're going to want just some sort of a long, maybe liner or brush like that you can do some fine lines with in our water. All right. Hopefully I went over all those. Okay. I'm not sure if I listed all of them, but you get the idea. Also, I've got a Willows blender. This is the 1/4 inch. I may use that to do some of the wood, but I'm not sure if I'm going to need that one, so I'm just going to set it aside for now. Let's go over the colors. I've got Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, and Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold. Both of these are kind of newer colors, so if you don't have those, that's okay. You can, I'll kind of tell you what to substitute for those, but I've got yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium red light, quinacridone magenta, dioxazine purple, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue green shade, cobalt teal, this is phthalo turquoise, and cobalt green, or I'm sorry, phthalo green. This is not cobalt turquoise, this is phthalo turquoise, cobalt teal, phthalo turquoise, and phthalo green yellow shade. Now, this color, the turquoise, can be mixed with the phthalo blue and phthalo green. That's all it is. So I'm just using it because it's pre-mixed. It'll save us a little bit of time mixing. But if you don't have it, that's fine. The cobalt turquoise is basically the same color, turquoise plus white. And then this is Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, and Zinc White, which is our transparent white that'll help us with the water reflections. Giving us a kind of softer look on our water. All right. I've already kind of transferred on my design on here, but I will go over the drawing very, very quickly. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because we've got a lot to cover tonight. So our boat, basically, the back end of it is going to be almost a straight line. It's curved just slightly, and it's pretty high up on our canvas. Then we're going to have an angle coming out this way. And it really doesn't come down all that far. There's a bench right here that goes. We're going to follow this same line here and here, and for the bottom of the bench, there's a little lip on it there, and then these lines are going to be this line and this edge of the boat line are going to be kind of straight up and down just about. So I'm going to go there. I didn't bring this out far enough, so we want to go right about there. And there's our edge of our boat. This overlaps a little bit. There's some there, right? So I would do this part first so we kind of get the width that we want this bench to be and sort of our dimensions of our boat. This is going to cut it off right here at a curve. Comes down and curves in. And same thing for that, okay? So there's our boat bench. All three lines here are going to be parallel, just about. This is going to be a little higher on this side, maybe, just slightly. And this is going to come out maybe a little bit higher this way. Okay, somewhere in there. I moved this twice. That's why it's good to do this on paper first before you go to your canvas. That way you can erase any mistakes. Okay, so then our opening for our boat is not very far from this. So it is, the tendency is going to be want to, like, look how far down I came here. This is going to be the edge of the boat is going to be that far down, but not the inner part of the boat is actually pretty short. So we're going to be like this. And there's not a whole lot of this interior of the boat showing. There's a couple of lines here, and that is it. And then there is the bow right here line, and it is also going to kind of match up to that line there just about. So it comes down almost straight into the water. And then this part is going to angle up and curve up a little bit and match up with this line here. So we're going to bring this out so that it matches up there, and then we're just going to connect it to this right there, like that. And then this part is already kind of starting to be drawn here. Right like that, and then there's a second line right here, and these two kind of merge. There's a rope here that's going to come from being on the outside to being on top right here. So it kind of switches, and then it does the opposite here. It kind of goes from on top to the outside edge there. And then this side of it, we're not seeing any of this back end of the boat really. It kind of starts way right in here, curves in really dramatically, and then curves out and meets up with that just a little bit in the water. Then our lines are going to be coming down and curving around. So they're starting up here and they're curving down, and just right here they're curving out just a little bit underneath. A little bit of a curve, and then it's pretty much straight. And then these ones are a little bit wider, so we can kind of start up here and kind of do these ones up here that are up close. My pencil is really dark for this. It's not giving me much room to make adjustments, but well, this one's going to come out a little bit wider as it comes around this corner. And there's a little bit more of a space here than there is on some of these other ones. And then you can adjust these however you need to. You can count these. I'm not sure how many there were. I didn't really pay attention, but then you're going to want to do the same amount on this side. And these ones are going to curve out and down a little bit. And then just as they come around the corner, they're going to curve well, they can really kind of go straight almost. I'm looking at this. And then right here, they're curving down a little bit almost. They start to curve down right here. And then by this point here, this last one, you're not seeing this last section really at all almost. You're only seeing this board here, so you can kind of come up like this and bring this in a little bit more. This board that we're seeing right here is kind of hidden. So we're only seeing this next one. And then in the water, we're going to have it all nice and dark. There is going to be some, a little bit in on each one of these. The water comes in just a little bit because these are sticking out. So, and really, once you get to here, the water is really not touching the bottom of the boat. Okay, I need to adjust those lines, but you get the idea. So, okay, that's about it. I'm not going to do a whole lot more. There's some ropes. They're going to be here and here, kind of coming like that, and then there's another rope here that's going to be going off.
As she does more, she's not going to do anymore.
Sorry, I'm not going to do anymore. Okay. I know, sorry.
I'm just going to do a few more.
That was 10 minutes. That was short.
I know, but it's funny you said I'm not going to do any more, and then you immediately go in. Then there's some ropes here. And
that's like one of my favorite lines in Pride and Prejudice, where Miss Collins says, "And I will speak no more of it." That's what I told everybody last week, or something like that. I can't remember. Not Miss Collins, Miss Bennett, the mom character. She's one of my favorites. She's so ridiculous. And she was like, I told them I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And she's like, as she's talking about it, you know. All right. I didn't explain that very well, but.
Oh, you did.
I'll have to find the quote. All right. So I think what I want to do, because I'm going to have to paint this water around my boat, I don't want the boat to disappear. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of outline the boat with some color. And the main color, the reason I grabbed this Quinacridone Gold, you'll see as soon as I put it on here, it's almost the exact color of that boat in our photograph. Well, I need to add a little bit more white so you can see it. Yeah, look at how, it's just almost spot on. So I looked at my color chart, and the color that's closest to it is like a Indian yellow. So if you have Indian yellow, you can use that instead. This one's a little bit more of the gold. So the Indian yellow is a little bit more yellow, but they both would work here. So I'm just going to kind of paint this outside edge just a little bit, and going pretty quickly. But you can see I painted the background of the canvas with cobalt turquoise. I used a very light shade of cobalt turquoise, so I added a lot of glazing medium to it and water, and then just kind of glazed it on, so it's very thin layer of paint on here. And that way we have some color to work with underneath. It'll just kind of be a head start for us on this. But I'm going to really beef up the colors. The colors in the photograph are very neutral, like they're kind of a neutral green, and this color here. I'm going to leave the boat kind of the same colors, just about, maybe make them a little bit more vibrant, but not much. But on the water, I wanted the water to be, I didn't want it to be that kind of sickly green color. So I'm going to make it more blues. I'm going to add more blues and things into it. If you want it to be green, then you can just use, it's like, it looks like probably ultramarine blue with some brown and some yellow. That would get you a color similar to that kind of khaki green color that's in the water in our reference photo. All right, so I'm just really quickly just kind of filling in my drawn lines here.
And a quick hello to everybody.
Yes, hi guys.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. If you're new, hope you subscribe. If you don't like to draw, you can still paint. We've got traceables available on Patreon for $2. It's $2 a month for all the traceables you want. So it's pretty.
And if you're watching this live right now, we suggest give it a few hours. Do that tomorrow.
Right.
To join.
Oh, yes, because it's going to...
it's a calendar month.
It charges you on the first of every month, right. So no matter when you sign up. So
if you join right now, you'll pay, and then tomorrow you'll pay again.
Again, yes, it'll charge you again.
Yep.
Good point, honey. Thank you for mentioning that. You're welcome. I always feel bad when people sign up on the last day of the month. right, I'm down here at the bottom. I'm going to go with more of the Quinacridone Burnt Orange.
And real quick, somebody had a question right off the bat.
Yep.
They wanted to know any advice on how to make a paint brighter, not lighter.
Okay.
So it sounds
What
like
kind
they're...
of color are they talking?
Oh, they didn't say.
Kind of depends on the color a little bit.
Okay, well, maybe they'll...
But some
chat it out.
colors, mostly what you can do is glaze with it. If it's a color that will allow for glazing, to really bring out the true color, because like you can see putting this gold over the top of this blue, it's changing the tone of it a little bit. It's making it more dull. We'll fix that later. Really, I'm mainly wanting to just get the outline on here so that I don't have to draw this again. I don't want to have to draw it again, please. So I don't like having to draw complicated things live. It's not fun. I'm a slow drawer. Okay. So what you can do though is you can add white underneath your paint. So you can even paint, I could have painted the whole boat white here if I wanted to, and then just glazed the brighter yellow over the top, and it'll bring out the colors. I will be using some white in it when I do my upper layers. And by glazing, I just mean you use a transparent layer of whatever color it is that you're wanting to brighten up, and it'll be a truer representation of that color over the top of other colors when you're layering it. And then you can add as many layers as you need to get it to the darkness, that you want it, because it can be lighter or darker depending on how much of the glaze you use. Glaze versus paint. All right, so I'm going to make my shadow color right here by the boat. I'm going to use Phthalo, Ultramarine Blue, and Purple, and Burnt Umber.
Okay.
I'm going to go right up next to this boat here, and I'm going to start right there and start my water with my shadow. What?
So they clarified.
Yes.
So they're mixing white with red to give them pink.
Oh,
But
right.
if they want to make it a brighter pink.
Brighter pink, yes. Then that's what I would do. I would paint it. You could even paint it white first.
Okay. And then the
And then
color.
glaze. Like the best pink that I have found is the Quinacridone Magenta. So if you paint if you paint the glaze of Quinacridone Magenta, you can see how much prettier and brighter that color is as a glaze, as a transparent glaze, than if you add white to it. You can get the same color, but the white's going to dull it a little bit. It's hard to tell on white here, but I don't know if you can see the difference there. That one's going to be a little bit brighter. And then you can control the intensity of the color too by your glazes. But so yeah, just add your well, I think I did it on the I've done it several times with flowers. So there's been several flowers that we've done that, and I forgot my glazing medium. Speaking of glazing medium, there's been several times when we've done flowers that we've done it that way, and there we go. Okay. I'm using the number 1 round here in the Princeton 6100 series. Okay. I thought Prussian blue probably would have been a good color to put out too, but I'd already put out so many colors I just didn't want to add anything new for anyone. Like, how many colors can she fit on her palette? I get comments about that all the time. So I try. I just like colors, so I'm sorry. I know I used a lot. I use a lot, but you can mix most of these. You don't have to have all these colors.
Oh, yes, you do. It's an addiction.
It is an addiction.
Must have all the colors. Mm-hmm. Hey, somebody asked, why did you choose this particular color from the undercoating?
Because it was kind of a medium value, and I saw it in I filtered the image through a turquoise filter to brighten up the watercolors, and so the colors in the water, I should say. So I'm using one on my monitor that's got more of this color in it. I didn't like the color that it made the boat, or I was going to use it as our photo, but it made the boat kind of yellow, weird color. So I just left our original reference photo, but that's what I'm working off of is a colors got this is our kind of the main color of the water in the reference photo that I'm using with the cyan filter on it. All right, so with the water here, what we're going to see is these kind of little oval and triangular shapes in the water. We're going to have these kind of darker and lighter sections that are kind of flowing into one another. So right around the boat here, I want it the darkest. So I'm going to go ahead and go even darker right here. I want it nice and dark. And then it's going to pretty quickly start filtering out into the water around it. And I'm going to use this glaze. I mixed up some Phthalo blue and Ultramarine blue too. And I'm going to start glazing some lighter colors over the top. And what that'll do, it'll kind of make them a little bit softer, more see-through like water is, you know. It's very reflective, so it's going to pick up the colors around it. The boat is obviously going to have all the colors of the boat down here in the water here in a minute when we get to that part, but I just went over the boat a little bit too much right there. I'm just going to fix that. There we go. But there is all of these little zigzag lines right here. And I'm going to try to kind of not get too many streaks in them, but if we do streaks, I want them to kind of go side to side this way. I don't want my streaks to come vertical. So I'm not going to fill in my water this way. I'm going to be filling it in from side to side so that if I do have any like see-through areas of my water, that it's going to look like I meant to do that. It'll be part of the whole overall look of it.
And can you mention again what the background color was again?
Cobalt teal.
Cobalt teal.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you, but I didn't retain that knowledge.
That's all right. Okay, so there's our main shadows right by the boat. And then what I can do is grab that cobalt teal and mix a little bit of that in with this. And I'm just going to kind of go over some of these edges where that's meeting up with the cobalt teal background color. And just kind of soften in. We will be adding all kinds of other colors here too, so this is just kind of the start. And this color has brown in it, so it's a little bit more muted too. So it's good for some of our shadows. I'm going to get a little bit of that brighter blue, get that ultramarine blue. And right up in here in the background area here, I want to make more of that color visible. So I think I'm going to get a little bit bigger brush here. I'm going to get the larger Filbert. And I decided not to put in the dock. There's like a dock there. I'm just going to make it all water up here. So I'm going to use this ultramarine blue and put it in side to side here. You can see how it's kind of leaving some streaks. That's okay. like like I said, I'm going side to side so that any of those streaks that we do see are going to look like we meant to do that. I'm getting some of my shadow color. I'm going to make it darker up in that corner. And this water up here is not as choppy as the water down here. So the water down here is going to have tighter, smaller ripples. The water up here has got these longer ripples. It's more calm water. So it's not going to have as many ripples. And I'm going to just kind of do them kind of like bricks. So I'm going to be building my waves in between each other, so they kind of do these long things where they sort of stair step in between one another. Do you see how that works? It's not a true pattern though, so don't get too caught up in doing that exact pattern over and over again, because then it'll look kind of fake. But you can see how I've got these areas dark, 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 and they're kind of going in and out of one another, almost in these kind of like little triangle shapes. That's what we're going for. Okay, I'm going to go right up to my boat here and go over the boat. How you doing, hun?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So which picture are you painting?
The one?
The one on the left or the one on the right?
The one there.
Okay. Because somebody asked about a teal filter.
Yes, that's what I was just saying.
So they were paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. So what program did you use?
I used my phone, I think. I can't remember. I think it was Photo Director, maybe. It's the program that I use to edit videos, but it also has a photo filter thing. I think that's the one I used, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so I'm going to do these kind of zigzag lines here for some of these darker shadows. See that? Bring in this blue, and really I want it to start switching to dark blue, and then as we get down here it's going to get greener and lighter. So still in here we're still using these ultramarine blue combos. I'm going to add just the tiniest bit of white there. I don't want it to change the tone too much, but I do want some blue, some lighter blue. There we go. And go right up to your boat. That's why I painted it, because I knew we were going to kind of have to paint over it a little bit. So that's fine. Just kind of paint over it a little bit. We should hopefully, if we do this right, be able to see the boat underneath. I'm going to get some Cobalt Teal and add that to the Ultramarine Blue. Okay. Cat is trying to get Mark's attention over there. She's talking to Mark. Like, I need to be in your lap. I need to be in your lap. You need my help. Okay, there we go. I want to take that out of the water. I don't want to leave that in there. Okay, so I'm going to start getting some of the green.
Can you show them?
Add a little bit of the burnt sienna to the green. What?
Can you show them the printout?
It's not the right colors.
Okay.
It didn't print out the right colors. That's why I left it over. I can change the. It's gonna take me here in a second. Let me do it over here. There.
Oh, wow. You're a magician.
Okay.
You know what you're doing.
So you can see the boat color's not quite right, but we can use that. Yeah, I need you to move it over for me. Thank you.
Okay, I can find my mouse. There it is.
Alrighty. And really here I'm just kind of trying to get the colors onto the canvas. I'm not really worried too much about the placement yet. Get that green, maybe add a little bit of the cobalt teal. There we go. It's kind of a little bit more of a minty green. Yeah, that's pretty. So you can see how much brighter that reference photo is that I'm using now. We added a lot of really pretty colors to it. I just thought it was, I don't know, I just liked it better. So, but like I said, you could use the other one if you prefer it. It's just up to you. Basically doing the same exact kind of techniques, just with different colors. So you kind of control what colors you want in yours. And I'm just using the edge of my brush. I'm not painting it flat this way. Just using the tip of it to draw.
Somebody's asked, is there a huge difference between cobalt teal and regular old teal?
No, there's not. There's not. Cobalt teal's a little bit brighter, maybe just slightly, but it's very much. It's actually the teal is. They couldn't get the ingredients for the cobalt teal for a while in the golden paints, so they had teal. It wasn't even available until like I think last year. They finally got the cobalt teal ingredients back and started making that. I think they still make teal, but they're almost identical. So teal was their kind of alternative color, you know. So, all right, let me get some of the yellow, brighter yellow here. Let me add a little bit of white down in here.
Okay, just remember my show's on tonight, so
I'm trying. I'm working fast.
take your time. We can always watch it recorded.
Okay.
But seriously, hour and a half.
But seriously, get it done.
They're starting to find stuff, so it's getting ready.
You think so, huh? Okay.
Oh yeah,
Mark's got
some Bobby Dazzlers and stuff.
Oak Island.
Hey, we got some people who live close by
Really?
Oak Island. Yeah, so
Cool.
they were in the show Saturday. I don't know if they've been digging holes in their yards or not, but
I would be. You never know.
yeah. I mean, there's treasure buried all over the place up there, apparently.
I know. Okay. So I've just added cobalt teal to this light green that I just had. And that's what we're going to do pretty much with this water. We're just going to kind of be changing mixing each color into one another, to change the reflective colors and going kind of around this green that I just put with my highlight color here now. Leaving some of that cobalt teal showing in places where this is definitely not going to be our last color that we're putting on here. So we're going to have lots of layers. That's the fun of doing water like this. It's got lots of fun layers, and as long as we get the shapes basically right and get these kind of, horizontal kind of overlapping lines, you can pretty much change the colors and really play with it. You don't have to do it exactly perfect, so don't feel like you have to follow my lines exactly. Just kind of get into the rhythm of it and look at some pictures of water, see, This is obviously not like ocean water that's, you know, real choppy and stuff, so it's going to be a little bit flatter. The waves are not going to be as, you know, foamy and all out in your face. It's going to be much more kind of calm, just little ripples here. Really pretty. Okay.
Now, if I wanted to add Loch Ness Monster to this boat, what's perspective to this boat? And would he be teal also?
You're on there, honey. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
I will not be helping you with that. I love you. Oh my gosh.
And a real question, they wanted to know which brush you're using.
This is the number 4 Filbert in the 6100 series. So it's a little bit, it's about a 1/2 inch or so. 1/2 inch Filbert. Beauteous. It's looking good. I like it. It's already kind of looks like water, right? It's really amazing how you just like these little zigzaggy lines. That's all you need. We're going to be using some of that gold too in here, but that's going to be kind of our like in your face color. So I want to go slowly with this and just kind of build up to that. So I don't want to add it too soon and overwhelm everything. I'm just using this kind of light green color here in my water to add my highlights, my ripples on my boat. Don't forget to go right up to your boat and out. And then these ones back here, I'm going to get some of that Ultramarine Blue, which is our color right next to it. Like I said, we're kind of building on colors, so we're mixing the colors that we already have here with just a lighter shade of it. A little bit lighter version. This one's got a little bit of that green in it, so it'll look really natural in there. Just kind of zigzag some of that through. I'm going to add Cobalt, Teal, Ultramarine Blue here together with the white. There we go. Cashmere is purring so loud over there. Can they hear her on the microphone? She's so loud. Okay, getting just ultramarine blue here now. Look how pretty that is. Going in and around. Nice and dark. You use ultramarine blue and some purple here. Do a real kind of purpley blue. Up in here you can see how light that or purple that color up in here is. I want to leave some light areas because that's where our orange is going to go. I don't want to darken up the whole area. Make it easier to cover. It'll be easier to cover that teal than it will be this darker purple, so don't want it to overwhelm everything. Pretty. Okay, let's use some of this down here too.
Okay, somebody has asked if they wanted to keep the green color from the first picture. What colors would they use?
Ultramarine blue and yellow and some browns. So I mentioned that at the beginning.
And also, what
It's
would...
kind of it's the ultramarine blue makes that khaki green when it's kind of a khaki green in the water. What?
And somebody asked, what could they use instead of Prussian blue?
I'm not using Prussian blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. Whatever she's using is a good one.
Yeah. I'm using purple and blue, ultramarine blue. Prussian blue has purple and it's phthalo blue red shade, which is close to ultramarine. So I usually just use ultramarine blue and a little bit of purple and black. Those are the Prussian blue colors. So and instead of black, I used burnt umber for this color down here next to the boat. Okay, using some white mixed with this color. I grabbed some cobalt teal to put in here in some places. I'm going to use some turquoise here. What's going on?
Cashmere got distracted by Spencer,
Nice.
so I closed the door behind her.
Did Spencer know he's on cat duty?
He'll find out soon enough.
Well, I just don't want him to close it or her door. She's going to come knocking on our door if he does. So.
I think she went running into his room, so he'll find her.
Nice. Okay. So I don't want the lighter colors to be too far up here. So that may be too light up there. I'm going to go a little bit more of the cobalt teal there. I want to keep the lighter colors down here. That brightens up this area here. This area is getting more of the sunlight. Okay, so now I'm going to put in just a little bit of this darker blues, just in a few little areas here, and I'm keeping it very thin. Just using the very tip of my brush and kind of running it back and forth. And I really, if you wanted to use the mop brush, what you'd have to do is do a small section with all three colors and then use the mop brush. But since I'm kind of switching back and forth with the colors here, it's not really practical to do that. It's just not working. These colors are dry by the time I get my, my next color on. So it's just not working out to use the mop brush. Although I do like to use it on water, it does kind of soften things up, but you kind of need both colors to be wet for you to kind of blend over. So we're just doing so many colors here. It's just kind of loading up on the colors. This is phthalo blue here, kind of mixed with this cobalt teal color that I've got in my brush. And we'll use it through in here. It's got some of this purple in it too, it looks like, so just kind of lots of different colors happening. And that's going to be the orange, so I don't want to cover over that. This color's a little bit softer than that darker color that we've got going on back in the very back, so I'm just going to use it to kind of fill in between. Now that we've got some highlights on here, now we're just going to fill in between and kind of add colors in between. They can go over the top of the highlight colors too, because some of the highlight colors will have other colors kind of mixed in the middle of them. So I can, like on a few of these, like put some of the, pick some of these highlight colors and put a little bit of a ripple of these colors inside. If I keep it kind of, what's that pun?
Oh, well, no sense in me writing myself a note. Somebody want to know, would you be able to post both pictures on Patreon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll be posting both of them. Yep. Yep, most definitely.
Man, she was watching me write myself a post-it note.
Well, I just wondered what you were doing.
I'm behaving.
curious.
I'm behaving over here. Boss lady.
Never doubted it. Never doubted
I'm not goofing off, boss lady.
Just curious. I've got FOMO, fear of being left out. What is that? Isn't that what it's called? No, is that right?
You're asking me? Okay.
Fear of missing out. Yeah, FOMO.
Okay. I will take your word for that until I look it up.
It's kind of a new phrase. Because I'm hip with the kids nowadays. You know, I kind of know all the cool new phrases.
Oh, is that one of the new...
Oh, yeah. It's not new. It's probably been around a long time.
Oh, yeah. FOMO. Fear of missing... Oh, it's an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Fear of missing out.
I am,
I'm like fearing that you're having more fun over there than me.
I am too old. A desire to stay continually connected with what others are doing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's not me. I'm not FOMO.
Yeah, you're not. You're even sitting here next to me. You're not FOMO.
Mr. Regato FOMO,
I don't know what that means, but
that song.
Mr. Roboto?
Mr. Roboto. FOMO. Mr. Roboto FOMO.
I don't think that's
No?
what he said.
Okay. At least everybody can see how good of a singer I am.
Okay, so I kind of added a little bit of this highlight color inside the darker color here. Okay. And I'm really just kind of switching between these different greens and blues. Sorry if I'm not saying every time that I'm picking up a new color. I get into it and then I forget that I'm actually supposed to be teaching it. Sorry. Like, ooh, this is fun. Okay. So this, I just added a little bit of ultramarine blue to the phthalo blue mixture that I had over here. That's all I did. So just, again, kind of going from this darker to lighter, just gradually kind of lightening up. There is the darker in through here still for our shadow, but it quickly dissipates into the lighter colors. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of pull these shadow colors out a little bit into the water. But actually most of this is going to be our boat color, so I don't want to do too much of that blue on there.
Somebody's asked is it critical or vital to use a Filbert brush to get these strokes?
I feel like Filbert does a better job just because it's a rounded tip, and so it gets a little bit softer ends. It's all about the end strokes when you're lifting your brush. You're getting these little rounded shapes happening. Okay. All right, let's start adding our orange. So back in here, we don't see what it is, but there's something in the water over here, probably another boat, that's got a really bright, vivid orange. I'm going to start out with the Cadmium Red Light here, and I'm just going to... Yeah, that's a good color. I added a little bit of white just so that it'd cover over this teal. And then we can go back over it with more of the solid color once it dries. But for now, we're just going to use this lightened version of it a little bit. And I'm just using the edge of my brush here. I'm going to draw in these little oval shapes. Some of them are kind of elongated triangles, but they're going to do this sort of zigzag shape. The edges of them are going to zigzag back and forth. And then sometimes they're going to split off and do their own thing and then come back together. So some of them will have little bits of color kind of floating off into space. Really pretty. This is super fun. I hope you try it.
I probably won't.
Okay, well.
But I'm sure a few thousand other people will.
Hopefully. Okay, and as we get down here, they're getting a little bit farther spaced apart. They're kind of more dense up in there, a little bit thicker, a little bit wider. I'm going to get some of that straight cadmium red light and do a whole section right here that's kind of brighter.
But if you put out videos on how to do exciting dashboards with Excel, I might try those.
I think that would be more your domain. You should come out with videos like that. Now I'm kind of doing these kind of curved, just slightly curved, like upward. And these colors come all the way down to the bottom, so but they get a lot more spaced apart. And they're right, it's kind of like right above some of these highlight areas, so kind of find those and put this color just like right above it. It seems like that's where I'm seeing them, in and around the little highlighted sections. Really pretty. Okay. And I think I'm going to bring this out just a little bit more, a little bit wider.
Somebody's asked, is it normal for paint to seep through a canvas?
No. Through the back side of the canvas?
I guess so, yeah.
Huh. No. No. Should not be doing that. That sounds like a bad canvas to me. Sounds like your canvas is not gessoed.
Gessoed first, yeah.
That's what it sounds.
It's just the linen material.
The gesso will seal that canvas, so the paint shouldn't go all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah. That happens if you paint on fabric, straight on fabric. Like if you've ever tried to paint on a t-shirt, it'll go straight through. That's why you have to have like aluminum foil in between your two layers. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you'll stick your t-shirt to itself.
It does the same with spaghetti.
Done that. I'm not saying I know that from experience. I'm just saying I have done that.
But it does the same with spaghetti sauce.
It does the same, except for you can wash that out, hopefully.
Okay.
You can't wash the paint out. So, yeah, it sounds like your canvas is not sealed. Alrighty. Yeah. Oh, I like it. So far, so good. Look at how pretty that is. Now, I do need more orangey colors in there, I've noticed, so I mixed up some. Yeah, I could have had cadmium orange too, which I just decided not to. I thought it'd be easier just to mix it. So I mixed the cadmium yellow and the cadmium red there to make a really vibrant orange. And I'm going to use this now in here and kind of add a little bit of this color inside the boundaries and along the edges of that red that I just put in. Doesn't have to always be. You can have it in the water itself, by itself, if you need to, or want to. It's up to you. but just going to adding a little bit of it to give it a second color. Again, there's all kinds of things going on in this water, lots of different little reflections, so nice. Okay, so let's use some of this color. Use some of this on my boat here. You know what? That was not a good idea because I can't see my lines anymore. Okay, let me do my lines first, and then I can do that. I'm going to get, let's see, let's get this brush. I'm going to end up using like the same 3 brushes the whole time. But, I'm going to go ahead and use this color in my water right here. Just a little bit of it. And this area is mostly this color. It's just kind of like versions of this color. So I'm just going to start kind of filling in some of these spaces. We'll be adding lots of other colors in here, but give us a head start. With our boat reflections. Okay, I say the sentence like 2 minutes apart. Okay. All these weird shapes here. Okay. Of course, as we get up closer to the boat, I'm going to get that burnt orange color and use that in the water. And you can use a little bit of glazing medium if you need it to go on a little smoother. Glazing medium just kind of help it kind of float on the canvas a little bit easier. You just want it a little bit softened. So pretty. So you want to keep your boat, you know, sections of your boat color kind of in line with your boat just about. So it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but, you know, just keep that in mind. I'm going to add a little bit of this blue to this color and use it over here in my darker shadow area in my, this side of the shadow, and also up in here in some of my darker shadows near my boat. Get that ultramarine blue. I'm going to come out here. Just add a little bit of that ultramarine blue around the sides of this boat. Got some darker shadows. Zigzagging it into the colors that I just put in there. Get some that turquoise. Use that right up next to the boat. Okay. Get some ultramarine blue with some white here. I'm gonna use it in my shadow of the boat. And on these shadows that are coming out the sides. Making sure that I'm going right up over the edge of that boat so that I get good outline on it. Getting some of my lighter color kind of coming in between now. This is more of the purpley blue. It's got a little bit more of the ultramarine blue in it. I'm just going to pick some strategic places to put it, just little areas where I see that it needs a little bit more light, maybe. And I'm going to get to Cobalt Teal. Use the Cobalt Teal kind of right in and around this boat here. Some turquoise. Use a turquoise with the Cobalt Teal here. This turquoise right up against this red is going to be really pretty, so make sure you get a little bit of that in and around that red, orangey red color. Okay. I'm going to use this color in my highlight areas in here, just adding some shadows to the centers of some of my highlights. It's a kind of cobalt teal and turquoise. How are we doing for time, hon?
We have about...
Oh, we're only an hour in. Good.
We only got about 11 hours till I have to be at work. So we should be okay.
You should be okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start using my zinc white now. I still have the blue kind of green in my brush here. I'm going to clean it out, though. So I had some orange in there still. I don't want it to be an ugly white. I want it to be pretty clean. So let's actually go with my next size up round. This is the number 2 round. Grab some of that zinc white. Or maybe a little bit of glazing medium. want to see a little bit of shimmer. It's very subtle, so we're just going to be a kind of a slow buildup of color. It's a good color to use up in here where we want to highlight, but we want to still be able to see the colors underneath. You know, we don't want it to be overpowering, so we can use it over some of these colors that we've already got on here, and it'll lighten up some sections of our water without really changing it too much. And then in some areas, I'm going to use my white and a little bit of the Cobalt Teal. So this is a titanium white here. And so I'm going to use that also in some areas where I know I do want it to be more obvious. So just picking some spots to go around my highlights here. Keeping that same, trying to kind of find these little spots. I've already got the groundwork laid for, you know, my shape, so now I'm just kind of working in and amongst the colors that we've already got going on here and just adding little highlights here and there. Some of these are gonna be kind of almost outlined with this color, like kind of little lines that go in around. These are brighter highlights.
Somebody has asked, what is the best thing to use to protect and seal the painting? Do you recommend any specific brand?
I've used Liquitex. It's called Liquitex Gloss Medium and Varnish, but it can be kind of tricky to use. I have some golden gloss or some golden varnish. I haven't used it yet, so I can't really say. I still had a bunch of the other left, but I have used the golden. There's an isolation coat that they have right now, and I did like that a lot. It went on pretty smoothly. It didn't streak too badly. You just have to be careful with varnishing, you know, with your streaks. You want to have a good brush that you use really only for varnishing, and keep it really clean. I use this brush here. It's just I don't know where I got it. It's probably a hardware store brush, but it's soft nylon and it's quite wide and it works really well. I probably need to get a new one. You can see where all it'll ruin your brush. That varnish gets stuck up in here even though you clean it out really good. So you don't want to ruin a good brush. Ultramarine blue here. That was kind of some cobalt, turquoise, and teal.
So somebody followed up and said, so no spray varnish?
No, I don't like to use it on a canvas. But you can, I mean, if you're using it, if you're doing like a heavy impasto painting where you've got a lot of texture, then you want to use a spray. But I don't like, especially for canvas. No, I would say no. You have more control over a brush. You can use it though. I mean, you can't. Like I'm not gonna. I just don't. I've used spray varnishes quite a lot for other things, but not. Well, one of the things too is that with a spray varnish, and especially on a larger canvas, you just have more surface area to mess up. And you've got to varnish outside or in an area with some ventilation. If you're going to be using a spray varnish, you don't want to be doing it indoors. So you've got to make sure that you've got the right temperature. It's got to be, it can't be too hot, it can't be too cold, it can't be too humid. You can't have bugs around, that are dust. It's just got to be just certain conditions for spraying, and most people don't have that available. I know I don't, so I don't have a really good place to varnish. Spray varnish. I've done it out of my lawn, and then I end up getting bugs and things in it, and it's a pain. So brushing it on in the studio is way way easier than trying to fight the elements. Okay, I like it. It's coming on good. Okay. So just adding my white, and I'm picking areas that I've already got these colors and just kind of going around them. Again, I'm not really going exactly by the picture. I am looking at my reference photos to kind of try to get them in the same general area, but I'm most certainly not like doing them exactly the way that it is in the reference photo. It's just almost impossible.
So did you share that video in the Facebook group?
What video?
Of that news guy?
No, I shared it on my Facebook page. No, it's hilarious though.
I think we need to put it in the Facebook group.
Nope. No, I ain't gonna mess with that. This is so great. His reaction. Oh, yeah, I won't give it away.
Yeah. So we'll put it in there. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely not art related. Don't give it away.
Okay. All right.
You'll just have to go to the Facebook group and check it out.
Okay. Well, I ain't messing with you. Just as the tone of his voice just cracks me up.
You just can't help yourself.
I can't. It's just hilarious. I watched it so many times yesterday.
She showed me. It is funny for sure.
It is.
And then 10 minutes later, I'm playing video games, and she starts laughing again because she's
giggling.
watching it again.
It's like, I needed that yesterday. It's been a rough couple weeks. Oh my gosh. I think everybody needs a laugh right now. All right, just kind of going back in with some turquoise here. I like it. Now I definitely see how there's a whole lot more of the lighter colors down in here, so I'm definitely need to gonna add a lot more of that white, whitish colors down here. I'm making my way down. I haven't gotten there yet, but as I go down here, I need to make these bigger and lighter. Adding a little bit of my Zinc White in it and here. Getting that cobalt teal. Oh, the turquoise. Wow. Oh, that's a Phthalo blue. It's actually pretty. Use that around. That's a happy accident. And then I'm going to use the in this area I'm not really happy with yet, so I'm just going to keep kind of working it until I kind of get it to where I want it to be. There's some of this turquoise that's going in and out of this, so I'm going to just kind of infiltrate the edges of the shadow with some of the color that's back here. Get some of that ultramarine blue. White. Kind of merging these two just a little bit more than I had it.
Okay. Somebody says they love painting your pictures, but they can't always find the right colors that you use.
Okay.
So what should they do?
They can't find the colors that I use. I'm wondering what colors they're having trouble with. Maybe the quinacridones. Most of the colors that I use are very basic, like, you know, the ultramarine blue and phthalo blues and greens and cadmiums. But if you can't find these, you can kind of see that okay, so this, let me see, this shadow area here it's broken up right here. I need to bring this highlight across right here. And it's also kind of got that. You can substitute as long as you get the color temperatures quite, close. So I use a cool and a warm blue, a cool and a warm red. The yellows are usually pretty basic. And then the quinacridones here are a color you can't really mix and get the same vibrancy, but you can get close-ish. So like say this boat color here is that quinacridone gold here. If you use like a yellow oxide or yellow ochre, it's a close cousin, and then you can add a little bit, maybe a burnt umber to warm it up because it's got a little bit more gold tone to it, and maybe use a little bit of yellow to brighten it up. So you can get something similar. It won't be exact, but and then the same thing with the quinacridone burnt orange. It's kind of a reddish orange almost, and so you can use like burnt sienna and a little bit of quinacridone magenta to get a color that's similar to it. And then you can tone it down with a little bit of yellow oxide or something like that if you need to. But so most of the colors can be mixed, but the main thing is just to have a color that's each, especially the red and the blues. It's really important to have a cool leaning blue and a warm leaning blue. So you've got your green, greenish blue and your kind of purplish blues. And that way you can mix the full spectrum of greens with those two colors. So like cerulean blue is similar to like more of a greenish blue. Cobalt is closer to an ultramarine. You can add like a magenta to phthalo blue to get something closer to ultramarine. It's not going to be exactly, but it'd be closer to it, So there's ways of getting around it. All right, I'm going to leave my water for now, and we'll work on our boat, and then we can come back to the water and do some finishing touches. So I'm going to switch to, I think I'm going to use the 1/4 inch angle. I think it'll give me more control in my little tight spots in my boat here. So I'm going to use that yellow oxide. Yellow oxide is opaque. So if I use it with the gold, nickel azo gold, which is type transparent, it will help. It'll cover better for me. It'll make that gold cover better. I'm just going to, and you may have to do some editing. You may have to go in with some of your white, or in this case I've got unbleached titanium here to kind of brighten up that top edge there. Cover over the blues. I really love that color. It's really pretty. So while I have this on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and use it in the water too, because it's in our water. Really pretty.
Yes, you are.
Going on. You're sweet. Going in and around where I've already done. Going over the top of some of my light colors just a little bit. Too. Nice. Okay. So I just need to work on these transitions between this darker and lighter. I still don't have it quite right. And I think I just need some more of this burnt orange in here. Bringing out that shadow just a little bit farther. And right up next to the boat here, the colors are not as bright, so I don't want any of this bright stuff hanging around right up next to the boat. I want it darker right in here. And then it starts getting brighter as we get farther away from it. That'll also make it more realistic. It's already better. Yeah, way better. I just took out all those kind of like bright spots of yellow that were close up to the boat. We didn't need those right there. Okay, so let's use this color. This is a burnt orange here. I'm going to use it right under here. And then I don't know where this next color is. Looks like it's right there. Okay. There's some like barnacles and things down in the water on this boat too, so we'll put those in. Right now I'm just kind of trying to get the basic shape in. And I'm going to use a little bit of burnt umber in my dark areas. Let's just do that. Let's map out our lines, make it easier. I can see what I did when I drew it. I didn't put enough lines in. These ones are really close together down here. I probably missed one of the lines, but you can do it right on yours. My head's in the camera. Okay. That's not, well, at least I washed my hair today.
That's
so.
true. Yep, today's shower day.
It was like every fourth day. It was so sad.
I wasn't sure
I've
what
gotten so lazy.
the showering protocol is for work from home.
Sadly, that's pretty much every day for me, so it's nothing new. It's new for Mark, but not for me. That's pretty much the norm. It's like, do I have to go out today? No, I can wait. That's pretty much how it goes with me. It's like, do I stink? Not too bad. It's all right. All right. This TMI probably.
No.
Okay. Purple and burnt umber here.
It's real life.
It's real life. Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to just use the tip of the brush here to just dab in right along that bottom edge of the boat where those kind of barnacles or whatever it is that's kind of discoloring the bottom edge, and just go right up to that water line. And if we did these colors close enough, you should just barely be able to discern the difference between the colors. So just want it just slightly lighter than the shadow color in the water. I think we did it just about right there. All right, purple and burnt umber here, and I'm going to use this for my lines. How did I do that? That's not at all right. I don't know what I did there. I can see what they were. Okay, so this line goes here. And then this one, somewhere in here. And I am messed up over. Okay, I'm just going to go all dark right here. I'm going to go in with my lighter color to show where the separation is, because I got this way too big right there. Okay, so it's like right in here. And another one right in here. Another one right in here. Okay. That'll help me. You can see him a little bit better on here. Just covered him up too much. Going with the Quinacridone burnt orange here, just for that darker. There's a darker shadow on the tip bow there. You can see the lines here really well. That's just underneath. Okay. Let's get some of the unbleached titanium and this yellow oxide. I'm going to use it right here. I'm going to use the burnt umber right in here for these ropes. They'll be lighter, but we'll put those in dark to start. Okay, let's put in our bench. Bench a little bit darker than the one above it. And then get that lighter, almost the unbleached titanium for this part. My paint's getting super sticky. I probably need to put out fresh paint. Going a little bit darker here. Okay, and as it goes down here, whoa, a little too much paint there. If it goes down under here, it's darker. Just using that burnt orange right there. And we use the burnt umber right in this corner here. Right along the edge of that boat seat. Okay, and then under here, I'm just going to go with that purple and black blue combo. That's our darkest kind of color, and just fill in this area with that really dark color. All in here. And I'm kind of pulled it out into that area there. Amazing. Just having that dark there pushes all of that forward. Gives it dimension. It's crazy how that works. Gonna use that little bit kind of medium dark color right here.
So we got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody would like to know, can you mix yellow ochre?
Yeah, you can. You can. If you have burnt umber or burnt sienna, you can mix. Really, burnt umber is probably better for mixing it. A
That
little bit of
and
yellow
okay.
and white. Let me try to get a color close to it.
You go, girl.
So there's our yellow oxide. And I'm going to start with white. If you have unbleached titanium, that's even a better place to start, but some people don't have that. And then some yellow. Pretty decent amount of yellow. And then a brown. Neutral color. And depending on how much, like if you use a warmer brown, like a burnt sienna, you'll get a little bit closer probably to it. And then just kind of keep adjusting. Looks like probably equal parts white and yellow, and then, or maybe a little bit more white than yellow, and then a couple dabs of the burnt sienna. You're getting it pretty close there. I'm going to put on some highlight color there. I'm just going to wipe my brush off, and then I'm going to use the water, just going to push it around on there. Spread it out a little bit. That color wasn't dry underneath, darn it. That was not good.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Just wait a little bit longer before you do that. The color that I just put down wasn't quite dry. Okay, so I added some of the burnt orange in the corners here and a little bit on the top here, and I'm going to just grab that yellow, or the unbleached titanium, with a little bit of the yellow oxide. And I'm going to highlight this bench seat. Yeah, really, I'm just going to go this way. The boards come towards us, but I'm not going to worry about that. And then we need to separate the boards so they come out at an angle. There. There, and then this one's coming almost straight with this one. Like that. To get that right perspective. This one's actually probably supposed to be pointing more towards this, but it's alright. Close enough. Okay. Go in here with the gold, a little bit of white, brighten up these areas in here. Doing that dark burnt umber on the inside edge of this board there, making sure there's kind of a separation between the boards coming down. And there's a little bit of a lip color right here, so I'm going to just take that burnt umber and come right up underneath that color there, if I can get some. My brush is getting all gummed up. Get some of that darker color. I'm going to come right up underneath, real close to that top edge, and just shadow. And then I'm going to get my round brush, some of the yellow oxide gold mixture. So I want it a little bit brighter than what is on the seat there. And I'm going to go across with that. Right there. And I can kind of put it up underneath here too if I want to blend out that dark area. And then I want that board splits to happen though, so wherever those boards are, I've got to split this right there. That front lip of the board. Okay. And then I'm going to use that yellow oxide and yellow, Indian yellow mixture. Or not Indian yellow, but gold mixture. You know what I mean. I'm going to mark these ones here, right in front of where those shadow areas are. Make sure that I have some shadow going across underneath these boards. So I'm just going to use some glazing medium and just go all the way across underneath all of this with some dark color. And then I want the lighter color on this to come up just a little bit over that. What were you saying, Tom?
Somebody wanted to know any advice in color mixing. Are there color mixing charts, or should they make their own? Or
I did a whole video on color mixing earlier this year that would probably be a real helpful place to start. And then I've got several other videos about color mixing too, or not several, but at least one other. And I did some in Facebook too. That's why I meant several. I do have several, but they're not on YouTube. Not all on YouTube.
I do remember that one we did earlier this year.
Yeah,
It's kind of
it was pretty good.
a tutorial.
I covered a lot of stuff in that hour and a half or however long it was, 2 hours. Okay, then I want a little bit of my lighter color.
The video is called Color Mixing Basics.
Yeah.
We did it 2 months ago.
The title is not that though. The title is something
It
different.
says Mixing a Basic Color Palette for
Right,
Acrylic
mixing the
Painting.
color, right. Well, if they put in color mixing basics, it wouldn't come up. They gotta put it in the right time.
I'm going to put it inside the cam.
Okay.
There it is. No, that's Winterberg here. There it is.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. We are high tech here.
And also, Angela has several videos where she paints clouds and does a lot of good tips on painting clouds.
Mm-hmm. People asking about that?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, we got a lot of clouds.
So just scroll through the 300 some odd videos and see the ones with clouds and watch them.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I can kind of tell from the videos how detailed we're going to get on the clouds, because some of them are more simplified clouds and some of them are real detailed, real realistic. So if you want to super simple, you can go with some of the ones that the clouds look a little bit less, finished or whatever. Those would be the easier ones. You can usually tell too by the time of the video how long it took me. I'm just going through here with this burnt umber here and adding some shadows to all of this. So just trying to get all this quite right. And then I want to add my rivets. Let's keep on going on the boat here. I think I'm going to switch to the number 2 round here and see if that is going to work. And I want to keep these brushes that I've already used wet. I haven't used any of these, so I'm going to set them off to the other side. You don't want to let your paints dry out, your brushes dry out in between. Okay. That wasn't too far off.
There were several people who were very worried earlier that the boat was filled with water. I'm glad you finally painted it in.
It was blue inside.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. It's sinking. Not very seaworthy. Okay, gonna go all the way along there. Just trying to get a second coat on everything here before we go too much further. Whatever it is we do here, we want to just continue it right here because this is all part of the same section of the boat inside. There. Using this gold, just kind of covering over everything here, giving it a second coat. Everything, you can see how green it looks, that first coat that we did. How are we doing on time? Ooh, yeah, we're getting close to 2 hours. Okay. I told Mark I thought this was a 2-hour one. Probably closer to 2 hours. Alrighty, I'm trying to see if I think that comes out a little bit more. Okay. Just trying to get a second coat on all this, covering up any of these areas where my water is, went over the top of my boat, chapping and a lot along the edges there. Looks better. Okay. So I'm going to get some of the Quinacridone Magenta now and add it to the Quinacridone Burnt Orange. And down here at the bottom, this part of the boat is kind of more of a reddish tone. Just going to bring that up out of the water. It kind of stops right about there. That is. It really pretty much is glazed there. It doesn't really cover too much. I'm going to use the Unbleached Titanium and mixed it with this color. Bring it down. Gold. I'm trying to, along this edge here, I'm just trying to kind of clean that up because it's got a lot of the blue over the top of it. Bring those parts of the boat out just a little bit. Highlight the bottom edge there. That's where it's sticking out a little bit. The overlap is happening on top. Okay. So that's helping. Let's go ahead and use this burnt orange, yellow oxide, some white, kind of a salmon color almost. So I'm going to use some of that first, and then I'll use other colors too, but I want to highlight right along the bottom of where that overlap happens, just above the dark line. And this is going to kind of follow the green of that wood and add a little bit of texture. Okay. Really, I think I like the yellow oxide color better a little bit for this, I think. I'll use a little bit of it on this side too.
Somebody wants to know, is the Patreon Facebook painting done? The picture and the peaches or nectarines, whatever they are.
Pretty much. We may work on it just a little bit on the very first week of April, but yeah, we're 99% done with it. We kind of ran out of time on Thursday when I was working on it. I didn't want to start a new stream just to do that little bit of it, so we'll probably work. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still kind of debating. I've seen some areas where I could probably mess with it, but at the same time, it's pretty close to being done. So I don't know. I'm gonna go either way. So I don't know.
It looks all right.
Probably yes. Let me show it.
It's behind
Where
you.
is it? Yeah, there's just a couple of the apricots that I kind of like to glaze a little bit darker along the bottoms, maybe. But for the most part, we finished it. So that was 6 weeks. So 6 times 2, 12 hours almost of video for that painting. Yeah. It wasn't quite 12 hours because we cut it off, on some of the weeks at 1.5 hours. So it was closer to, but it was close. I think I'm pretty happy with the water for the most part. I'm still not 100% happy with this. I'm really not sure what to do to fix it. It's kind of just looking a little weird to me for some reason. Maybe get some yellow oxide and mix it with my green. Maybe have some, more green in here. Add some green. A little bit more green. There we go. A little tiny bit of white, but and then use it in here too. They use that green in here. And there's some areas down in here where there's some in our edited photo. There's some kind of almost lime green. Add some kind of yellow, more yellow to the water down there. And more white. I add a warmer white with more of the yellow in it, it'll pop it forward too off of that blue. Make it look brighter. Yeah, pretty. Okay. I'm just finding my white areas here and just adding a little bit of this color to them. Yeah, that brighter yellowish white color really add pop a highlight. Going pretty bright with this. It's almost pure white. Gotta have some of this really bright for it to shine, but that yellowy color against that blue will come towards us, so it'll look more, you know, shiny. Even if it's closer to the same value, it'll still look closer to us, or, you know, brighter. This and that blue there are almost the same value there, but these parts are going to look brighter just because they're that yellow light. It's weird how that works, but it's going to have the eye interprets color. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I need to keep on working on that boat just a little bit more, but we're getting close. All right, I'm going to go back to this gold and yellow oxide here. Let's make sure that I've got kind of a highlight along the top edge of these boards, and then I'm going to glaze it so it'll just kind of tone down all this that's happening in here. So I'm putting this on a little bit brighter than I need it to be. That's pretty close. Pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and use some of the same white that we used in the water here. Got that one a little bit low. There we go. Let's use this color right along the front of this. That'll pop that forward. Use this. Highlighted color right along the front here. I'm going to pull that board forward. Same thing here. Being kind of sloppy here. You can take your time.
Don't go fast.
Okay.
Do it right.
Okay. I'm trying to finish before 8. Well, no, it's too late now. Too late now.
Well, you already lost that, so you might as well just take your time.
Okay. All right, so
There's
there
always
is
gonna
a
be
rope right here. It's going to come up. It's going to dab. I'm just going to call that our tie. And then get that white color. And I'm just going to dab along this side of it. Let's smooth that out a little bit, but we don't have to, with ropes it's pretty easy. You don't have to get too detailed with them. Just kind of like angled little lines in it, you know. Little dabs, dashes. It kind of makes it look a little bit more rustic and realistic. And then I'm gonna do the connection there. Get your Oak Island out and start watching it. You can watch it while I'm doing this. You can have it going in the background. Just put your headphones on. No? Okay. I'm gonna run these ropes around the side here. And then the ones that are kind of coming off the back of the boat here into the seat. Oh yeah, there's a little section right here that I didn't paint. Like a little part sticking out right there. Go darker. Okay.
You know the first 20, 30 minutes of the show is them repeating
Recapping.
everything for the last 12 seasons.
True.
So the same graphics they've been showing for like 6 years.
Very true.
So no big deal.
Not gonna miss a whole lot.
No. Plus, like I said, we can watch it recorded tomorrow.
Okay. You're a good sport, hon. Thanks.
I'll just creep on you some more then.
Just gonna creep me out. Okay. I need to add the darker to that rope, but you get the idea there. And then there's rope along the side of the boat. I don't know if we want to get that fancy with it, but we can kind of indicate it there. You can see how we did just those little lines there. Let's do the dark on this rope here. I'm just going to go along the bottom of it and dab in my dark colors. Go in between here. Dab some dark along the bottom of these. And then really need to just do it all the way along here with the dark. Get the lighter color. Add it over the top. I feel like with rope, the less you fuss with it, the better it looks. So just kind of try to get the essence of it without overdoing it. Let's get a darker color. I can get some of the lighter on the side here, and we can try to do it all in one. We'll see how it works. Yeah, that worked. All right. As it comes around here, it's going to get more in focus, more obvious, the pattern. Back in here, it's kind of just little dabs. And get that highlight color, white, yellow. I'm trying to go in between my brown dabs that I did. And this goes right over the top and just continues on down. Around the side there. Alright, so you can see it's not perfect, but it is close. Now what we can do now is just kind of glaze, and that'll kind of help all of this. I'm going to get some of the burnt umber, a little bit of the quinacridone burnt orange, and I'm going to glaze underneath the rope on my bench where it's kind of a shadow there. Anywhere on here that I need some more shadow, I'm going to glaze. I've already got pretty much all of the shadows in here that I need, but if you need more, you can do that. I'm going to shadow underneath my rope all the way down here, just a little bit. And you may have to wait until this dries, because you don't want to lift off that white paint that we just put on there. So if it's still wet, which it is right there, you just have to wait a little bit. But glazing it'll also kind of tone down the colors and make it look a little bit more realistic, a little bit better. I'm going to put some highlight right here on this board again, just a little bit right there, going across. And then I want that gold. I'm out of my gold. And let's use the so we went quite light on this. This is my quinacridone gold. Shoo, look how bright that is. Just glazing over the top. Don't get my rope. Get in here a little bit. Anywhere you want it to be a little bit more of this gold tone. How bright that made it. Really pretty. Okay, now I can get my burnt umber and burnt orange. Probably need to let it dry a little bit, but I'm going to just go ahead and go for it. Go right up underneath where my shadows are. Go back over my shadows. I'm glazing here, but I've got a pretty good amount of paint on my brush. So I'm pulling it around the sides here of the boat so it's a little bit darker around the side. And then just kind of using the tip of that brush on its side, just on the angle. darken up. And shadows. Look at that. Nice. Glazing, I'm telling you. If you learn it, it'll change your life. With painting at least. Maybe not other places, but it sure makes a difference with your painting. Okay, get more of that gold. And then if you need to, you can go back in and, go back over certain areas with like a highlighted just white with their gold. Just a few places if you need to firm up those separation between the boards or wherever. But I think we're pretty close to where we want to be. I need to define this line a little bit better. So I'm just going to get that gold and go down here with that. Okay. And then the top of this is highlighted. Just kind of squared off right there. It's the top of that post. I need to highlight this again one more time. The front part of it. Maybe add a little bit more of this gold back in here. This part of the boat didn't get as much gold. It's more in the shadow, so. Doing all right, hon?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How you doing?
Doing good. I'm liking how it's looking, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it's coming out great.
Thanks.
Looking very cool.
And just adding more of the burnt umber over this rope, so tone it down a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit too white. It's just glazed burnt umber. Can you hear Spencer in there? It's funny. Spencer's blessing and a curse with this whole thing because he got out of school. His senior year got cut short, so he hasn't had to finish, which is nice for him. He's graduating. He got straight A's for his last semester in school, so they said if you like your grades for your third quarter, you get to keep them and just graduate with whatever that grade is, and you don't have to do a lot more schoolwork. If you want to improve your grades, you can do some schoolwork, but he's like, no. No. So I'm like, aren't you glad that you worked hard and got your grades up?
Lucky.
He's lucky. He is lucky.
I wasn't that lucky.
No, I wasn't either. Although I take that back, I was kind of, because I did work release, like it was prison work release during my senior year. So I went and worked. And
sometimes it's like prison.
Got out early. Sometimes it feels like that, doesn't it? Maybe that wasn't as much.
We didn't let everybody know about your past, honey. You just kind of spilled the beans.
What?
About your work release program. There's a dark history behind Angela.
Yeah.
She was a hooligan back in high school.
Yeah, I was on the honor society.
Whatever. They're a gang. Just admit it.
Okay, I'm going to use purple, do all these little rivets, and then we'll be done. You can leave them out if you don't want them, but I think they add a story, Gotta do it. And if you want to, you can try to get a little bit of lighter color on there too with it, so you got a little bit dark and light on the same brush. We'll see if we can get any of that to show up, but You may end up having to do this twice. Not really showing up much. I need a smaller brush. And I want it totally purple. I'm going to add a little bit of the burnt umber here. Okay, and I'm scooping a pretty good amount of paint on the tip of my brush. I want a fine brush, but I do want it kind of loaded, sort of thick with paint so that I can just tap and dab. Tap and dab. And actually didn't do the end of that one. There's like a board here that ends. Just go ahead and put that in there. Try that again. Okay. I'm gonna go in a row down. If your shadow is not dark enough, you can darken it up. This should be about the same color as your shadow. So if it's darker than your shadow, you may need to change it up a little bit. Lighten this up or darken your shadow color. One or the other. And they start to curve in. I put these too far apart. Yeah, these. I don't know if I like these. They're a little too dark. I feel like it's too obvious. Well, I think what I would need to do is probably go back over these with a little bit of the lighter color just to kind of tap in a little highlight on the top of the nails. That always kind of helps set them in. Maybe, yeah, that's better. It's a little bit less obvious. Oh man, there's a lot of them. Like, do I really want to do these? I guess so.
Only if you want it to look fantabulous.
Yeah. Okay, I changed the color a little bit so it's a little bit less dark. A little closer to the tone of the wood. Although it's showing up in the dark area now. And I'm not seeing the rivets actually in this little bottom area now that I'm looking at it. So I might could get away with not doing them down there. Lots of little rivets. They're a cool old boat though. And they get closer together. I really didn't do a very good job of spacing them out there. These ones along in here. There's 3. And 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 2, 1 here, 1 right there, 1 right there, and then get your yellow or your white and do a little highlight on one side. Tab, little highlight. Try to get them. I'm not doing a very good job of making these circle. They look more like ovals, but oh well. You can take your time on yours. We got some Oak Island to watch. Get the idea. Okay, I don't see any other major rivets happening. And if you need to, you can go in here and like shadow on your rope here. If you want to really give it some depth, you can kind of go in through here and darken up some of these rope areas.
So are all those dots nails, or are they just like
I don't know.
imperfections?
No, they're nails.
They're nails?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're nails for sure. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Probably could mess with the water some more, but I think I'm going to call it a day. It looks pretty good.
You sure? Make it awesome, because it's going to be on YouTube for a while.
It's true. Well, we've already gone 2.5 hours, so
Okay.
it's
And
longer than I had intended to go.
I won't charge you for overtime.
You won't?
No.
Okay, thanks, hon.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to try to get some turquoise. I don't have any white left. I'm using the Zinc White here. I like it.
And you haven't had any splatters yet either.
No, I'm not going to add any splatters.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
There's there are some little dealies on the water though. I mean, you can add
Ooh, we need
like little leaves and things.
we need to paint the dealies.
Not really sure what they are. Little debris and things. Yeah, so I mean, it could be. I think it's just like little leaves and things. And there is a little, oh, don't want to forget this. This is important. Okay, so right here, right up where the water meets the boat, there's a little highlight with the Zinc White. Right there, just like a little trailing edge of highlight in the water. Just really small and right up next to the boat. Right there. I see that. Okay, that's important. Let's stop there, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I keep seeing things in this water. There's so many colors, but I just get some green here. Just do it in some of this little area here, and if you need to, you can do your blue again too. My ultramarine blue here. Bring it out the opposite way with the ultramarine blue. Do little zigzaggy lines here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, I think. I do want to brighten up this edge right here in the water to match the, I have to add white. I need it. Get some yellow oxide here. A little bit of the burnt orange. I want to clean this up right here. This little bit right there is kind of messy. Okay, and then right here, I want this color, this gold and white. There we go. Titanium white, nice bright color. All these hairs. Oh, how those get on my palette. How's that happening? I don't know. Okay. I'm going to zigzag this line here. Light, bright color, matching that highlight color there. Then we've got, I noticed that I've got some red wrapping around the bow there. I didn't do too. Okay, going back in with even brighter color. Going to skip and meet it up down here. And then skip and do it some right here. Okay. And let's do some in some of these lighter areas. Just pick some of these lighter areas that I see and add some of the highlighted color inside. Very small little lines trailing through what I've already done. Just brightening up. Yeah. Alright, let's add just a little bit of this over here. I am seeing some white with red, brighter highlights around these red areas, so just a few. Keep them very small and wiggly. You don't have to completely surround it, but see that? Let's do it up here too. It's not as much up here. It's mostly just down in this area. Not really sure why, but just see more of the white in with it right in here.
Could you explain what do you mean by glazing?
Glazing is using either water or a glazing medium. In my case, I suggest if you're using heavy body acrylics, use a glazing medium because it'll help the paint stick better. Water can underbind your paint, but you are using a very, very little amount of paint, and you're using a lot of glaze, and you put on a thin layer of paint onto the canvas. That's really all it is. You're just putting a very little amount of the paint onto the canvas. I'm going to use a little bit of the Cobalt Teal mixed with that yellow there with my white. I want to make another bright white, but even brighter than what I've got here. I'm going to do one more layer of bright white in my areas here. You really can stop at any point that you're happy, so just know that. You don't have to keep going with it. I'm going to go almost straight white here. The round brushes also have the rounded tips, so you can use those instead of the Filberts here when you get into the smaller areas. But I really need to make some of these white areas bigger, because there's some areas here that are really large areas of white. Gonna dominate. Using some of the Cobalt Teal, gonna round it here a bit. There we go. All right. Oh, I think that's good. I'm gonna stop. I like it. I like it. Let's do. I said I'm gonna stop. Ha. Fooled you. Fooled you. Right here. I wanna.
You did.
Right here, I just want to kind of blend that in a little bit. It was kind of stuck out there on its own. Okay, get some super chats. Yay. I'm going to sign this while you guys are doing that.
All right, we had one super chat.
Hey.
It was early in the show. It's from Jan, and she says, oops, there it goes. It says, can't watch this live, but want to send this.
Aw.
Oh, so thank you so much, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Hopefully you're watching the replay.
Yes.
Get our thank you.
Get the super chat. Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. That's so sweet. We appreciate all that watch our videos and support our channel. And I know this is trying times right now, so it's really sweet of you. All right, I think we're going to call that good. That was a fun one. Long, but definitely worthwhile. I liked it. I like the brighter colors too. I hope you did too. So, alrighty.
So you merged the boat from the original photo with the water of the photoshopped photo.
Right. That's
and
exactly what we did.
On your Patreon page at the level it gets it, you'll have both photos.
Yeah. Oh,
so they'll have access to that.
Yes, the red here on the bow here. It goes across right here. Just remembered. I saw that on the picture. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. And we need that in the water too. Sorry.
So those if you give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Angela's channel. 300 plus videos of all different
I think we're
levels.
400 now, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, so things you can do with the kids, things for beginners, things for more advanced. So do that.
Click on the playlist tab. There's a playlist for families, for projects that are super easy that you can do with your kids.
With things as simple as cotton swabs and things like that. So you don't have to have a lot of supplies to get it done.
Yeah. So.
And then we'll be back Saturday.
We will. We're going to be painting a rose. It's going to be a long one, so it's going to be a long lot.
Ooh, get ready.
Yeah, I expect 3 hours at least.
Bring your snacks.
Bring snacks. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.